there's that rock energy. I always think it's a little aggressive. I go, no, it's fine.
I love it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fireside Chats. My name is Margaret Pinard. You're on Booktube. That's my channel tagline. And you're very welcome. Yeah, so Fireside Chats is a series I'm running in August every weekday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I welcome a lovely creative guest to come along and work with me with an activity of their choice or read something Booktube related. So welcome to Jenn Collignon, fellow author. Why don't you give us a little details about your book?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am a fantasy author, and I also have my own channel. I go by Jenn's Bookshelf, Jenn with 2 N's, as you can see by my name right there. This is mirrored. That's fun. But yeah, I've been a writer my whole life. And earlier this May, I released my first book, which is called A Second Story. This is a cozy fantasy set by the sea where 2 adventurers decide to retire and buy a bookstore together by the sea. It is gay. It's queer normative. It's wonderful. But yeah, I go under the name Jenn Collignon or Collignon if you want to go French. It's up to you. It's up to you. But yeah, I do bookish and writerly content and very fun. I'm releasing the cover of my second book tomorrow. So life is crazy right now.
Yeah. I just saw the TikTok where you were like, it's 2 a.m. I didn't tell you guys.
Oh my God. Last night as I was scrolling on TikTok, like half asleep, and I was like, I didn't tell TikTok. Too many things going on.
It's hard when you have all the platforms, right? So where can we find you, just so people know? Because I think you have a little bit different on each. But I put your link tree in the chat in case people want to check it out and subscribe wherever they are.
That's definitely the easiest. I'm most active on YouTube and TikTok, but I also have Instagram and Twitter and Threads. So I'm everywhere.
All right.
I think on Instagram and Threads, because it's connected to the same one, it's author Jenn Collignon. On TikTok, it's Jenn's Bookshelf. And then on YouTube, it's Jenn's Bookshelf. One of them has an underline. Maybe that's the Twitter. I don't know. But
Twitter is Bookshelf Jenn. And then Instagram and YouTube are Jenn's Bookshelf _.
Yep.
I know. I started out with Taste Life Twice is my handle because that's my publishing company name on Twitter. And so that confused people when I was like, I'm Margaret Pinard. And they're like, well, what's that? Like, why is that your handle? How am I supposed to find you with that? So whatever. Okay, so that's where you can find us. Queer Cozy Fantasy. You said bookstore, and my ears were like, yes. You mentioned a bookstore cat in the little blurb, so like I'm already
Yeah, seems to be the bookstore cat. When I was writing it, I knew immediately that I was going to have a cat in it. And I was in the middle of writing it like the very first time back in June last year, and I was just like fast drafting all the way through, and I was like half awake just in the middle of the day, and I was like, I don't have a name for my cat in this book yet. So I just texted my friend. I'm like, what should I name the cat? And she goes, name it after me. And I was like, cool. So her name is that. So.
Nice. Behind the scenes story. I like it.
It's that's something that fantasy name.
Yeah, I might be asking ChatGPT for these days, but I'm glad we have the call a friend still in.
Yeah. Usually I do the fantasy name generator. That website is getting all its business from me.
Nice. Okay. All right. So just to rewind a step, in case people don't realize what the parameters are for, did I use that word right? Parameters? I think so. Yes. For cozy fantasy. Can you sort of define for us what that usually includes, what people can expect?
So the definition of cozy fantasy is a little bit of an interesting one. I know on TikTok, there's been a little bit of a discussion last month, I think it was, between like Meg's Tea Room, who's one of the biggest cozy fantasies creators on TikTok. I think there was Bree and M and Katrina. Like, it was a whole bunch of us, or a whole bunch of them. I wasn't necessarily a part of it. But it was the question of like, how do you even define this genre? Because it is so new. It's such a new like subsection of a definition, I guess, and it's so internet based. But I guess so everyone has different definitions of what cozy actually means to them. So I think in general, it's lower stakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's usually like the only general thing. Like to me, it's about vibe and atmosphere. It's
one of your reviews says slice of life. I think that's like a part of a lot of them. Like
so you have more of like, you're kind of almost guaranteed just to find community in this. You're finding like a place where you feel less lonely. It's just soft and sweet and it's wholesome, and they can still deal with really big themes.
Yes.
Like I know Son of a Sailor, which is by Marshall J. Moore, which was just released this July. That one deals with grief, and it's just like the whole book is painted with it, but it's still cozy and it's still lovely.
Right.
But yeah, cozy is different for everyone. But I think cozy fantasy is an interesting genre. It brings into mind like cozy mystery, right? Because that's a really
more familiar with. It has a very different vibe than cozy fantasy. I think the people who ascribe to that as like, this is my go-to genre, are seeking very different things. Because cozy mystery, I think, there's often still pets and there's often still like amateurs and whatnot, but the coziness is sort of it's arrived at strangely, I would say, because there's still murder. It's just that you don't care for the characters that are murdered, so it's not like gut-wrenching murder. It's just like
murder. It's still murder. It just might be a little old lady who's solving the murders, who's got literally nothing better to do except for dig her nose into stuff. I'm like, I love it.
Right.
There's a lot of people
knitting.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people on TikTok that are like squishing them together, like cozy mystery and fantasy, which I think is cool. I like to see how those work. But that's what cozy is.
We love a good mashup. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We just had an answer. Okay, so let me go to the comments and catch up with our discussion so far. Felicia's here. Hello. RC Scott was here. Hello. I pinned a question, which I'm looking for an actual specific answer because it occurred to me, and I asked Jen, and she said it made sense to her. So we're seeing if like there's a mind melt going on. What's the perfect theme song for someone who writes both cozy fantasy and horror? Because that is author J.A. Collignon, because she's featured in the Stygian collection along with me, which is horror. Yes. So like cozy fantasy and horror. What's the theme song for that? Like, let me see if anyone gets it. Jordan Mahoney is here saying, how are you doing? Just Eva. Hello. Anita A.F. Stewart. Hello. Cool Gamer. Welcome, everybody. Martha Jones here, who I was just mentioning, I need to send the words to, says, I got the last name Jones. Let's talk about unfindability online, guys. Hey. Leslie from Bookskers and Purrs says, hola, everyone. And her guess is perfect theme song, Monster Mash. That's very vintage to me.
That one gives like it just immediately whenever I hear Monster Mash, I'm flashing back to middle school gym on Halloween when they made like a circuit and we could all go play, and it was just like the dark but Monster Mash was going, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So
it's like spooky. Yeah, it's spooky to me rather than like, ooh, cozy, you know?
I mean, to me, it's kind of like that because it's such a nostalgic song, but it's a boogie. I don't know if it's cozy. It's a boogie.
Anita says, cozy paranormal mystery. It might be closer to cozy fantasy.
Probably. I've never been into it, but probably.
Yeah, all these things added together. I like it. Martha's got a contender, Paperback Writer by the Beatles, for cozy fantasy and horror.
If I've ever listened to that song.
Yes, she's much younger than I am. Should I sing it? Paperback writer, the verses are something like, what are they? You can read my story. Can you take a look? It took me years to write, something like that. Like it's the horror of being a writer, maybe, but I don't know the fantasy part. So you have to explain that better, Martha. Or maybe Dead Man's Party. I don't know that song.
Interesting.
I'm a vintage gal. And Esther is here. Hello. Nice of you to catch this live. Yeah. All right, so from cozy fantasy to the question that we pinned in the chat, we'll leave that for the moment. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to work on, what are you working on? You're editing and I'm drafting. So go ahead and explain what you're working on.
I'm working on a small rewrite of A Little Luck, which is the sequel to A Second Story, the companion sequel. They stand alone, but it's in the same world, and it follows this one after in timeline-wise. It's coming out in October, so my August has just been just editing. That's literally all I've done. It's up till like 4 a.m. last night trying to get stuff done, and I'm like, oh, my brain is just...
Are you a night owl?
I am a really big night owl, which doesn't work for my full-time job, but it works for my brain. So, you know.
We work around. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to be continuing what I've been working on with the lovely guests this month, which is a sort of cobbled together of 2 short story ideas that I had drafted and I think will go together. So I'm going to keep seeing if I can like sew the seam and keep going with it. It's like a Regency historical that's going to turn into paranormal. So there we go.
I think historical is a really interesting genre to play with the paranormal, though, because there is just, if you're in that time, you like people don't know enough, right? Like we still don't know enough, and we're modern. So it's just like, is it paranormal? Is it ghosts? They say yes.
Yeah. Have you read Natasha Pulley?
I don't recognize the author's name.
And the one that I read is called Bedlam Stacks. It's historical fantasy, and that's sort of what I'm aiming for. It's amazing. Shannon has joined us. ST Houston saying hello, and she's on Samantha's channel tonight. Interesting. And Esther says, I feel that, Jen. I think that is for
being up till 4 a.m. Yep. Yeah. That's a cool cover. I just looked up the Bedlam Stacks book. That's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Watchmaker of Filigree Street. I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one.
I mentioned that first, but I haven't read it, so I assume it's just as amazing.
Probably.
Okay,
I mean,
that's what we'll be doing during our first sprint. So we're going to go 2 rounds of 15 minutes and just sort of like do a little bit of download, do a little work, help each other get through it. Thank you. And you can feel free to ask us questions or work alongside or answer the question in the chat. Jen, before we start, did you want to give your favorite word for people? If they're watching on the replay, they can put it in a comment down below, and I will be sending a magic book giveaway at the end of this drawing on the 31st. So
very fun. My favorite word is incandescent. It's one of my favorite words. I will use it in every book that I write ever. At least.
Easter egg. Nice.
Every time, I remember I had a beta reader reading, I think it was A Second Story, and she came back and she was like, one of her comments she had highlighted, and she goes, "This is from Pride and Prejudice." I'm like, yes, good job. You caught the Easter egg.
Nice. I do that in social posts and like almost nobody, like 1% of the time someone will pick up on it and I'm like, where are my people? I'm like, come on, come out of the woodwork, please. Yeah. All right, so I've got us a timer and it has both of the things. So we're all set to go. I've also got this weird fireside chat, which you don't need because we're on fire here, but that's fine. We'll use this.
It's atmospheric.
For atmosphere, exactly. All right, so we will hop into our first round and see you in 15 minutes. Good luck, everybody. Here we are. How'd it go?
That's all right. I spent half of it trying to find the friggin' Hosier song that's stuck in my head. But I was unsuccessful, but it's fine.
Started here in the orange and then got the other side of the page. So got like, I don't know, 3/4 page is pretty good. I bounced back and forth to send Martha the words to see if she can make a song out of them. But other than that, it's pretty on task. So yay.
Love it.
So how do you do your editing? Because I know this is so hard to like measure progress in because you can't count words. It's not really useful to count time. Do you have a system that you've adopted?
It's just chapter by chapter at this point.
Comments and check the comments or resolve.
Yeah. Where did it go? Here it is. Too many things around me. And I also have like a big old checklist in my bullet journal that I have to go through.
Nice.
And I have it also on my wall, so I see it all the time.
Oh, okay. All right. A proponent of the wall system. I like that.
Yeah, I got a paper on the wall that's got my calendar set up, and it's fun to see this really long checklist. And just look at it and be like, oh no, there's so much to do.
Yeah. I feel that. So Esther said, cozy vibes on point. You like the little fireplace. And yes, just say hello. Laura Nettles in the house. Jen in the chat as well. Yes. Good question for us. What are your favorite horror subgenres to write? And actually, Brie Bonomo, who's also in the Stygian collection, just asked that on Instagram for a giveaway of the collection. So I already gave my answer, but what is your answer?
Oh God. As someone who doesn't regularly write horror, and usually just uses horror elements in fantasy occasionally, not in my recent books, but in my darker fantasies, which I still have on the back burner. Yeah. It's fun to dip into the horror vibes of things. But I usually I find the horror, and I was thinking about it when you were asking about what makes a song for someone who like both cozy and fantasy and horror. That wasn't a sentence, but it's fine.
Vibes.
It's about the vibes, exactly. It's all about atmosphere for me. So it's about painting the scene and making people feel a kind of way. Whether it's cozy or on the other spectrum when you want to make them feel freaked out. Right. But I did discover recently that one of my favorite like thrillery, horror-y tropes to read is haunted house trope. I don't know what.
So you would love my answer of Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. She's my highest rated horror read for the year. So I was like, well, whatever that is. And I was like, it's haunted house, it's ghost story.
Yeah. I want the haunted house. I want it to be creepy as hell. I want people to be like, what's happening? And then I want it to actually be supernatural. I don't want authors to back out. Don't give me the real world Scooby-Doo answer. I want the real monsters.
Yeah. This is a good one then, I would recommend. So then Martha said, I started researching with all good intentions and found distraction in a phenomenon called hobbitholestore.com. Thank you. Now that's in my brain, where one can purchase Hobbit-themed playhouses and chicken coops. No.
That's wild.
It does sound fun. Not in the market for it, unfortunately. A playhouse or a chicken coop with my apartment. Laura had another good question. What's a unique way to make murder cozy?
I think we were talking about this earlier when we were talking about like cozy mystery. I think the detachment from the main character makes murder cozy, because then it's like just someone trying to figure out clues and getting embroiled in it a little too deep. But it's about vibes. It's about vibes. Because if you give us a like slasher murder novel dripping with blood, that's not cozy. But if you frame it in like a little cafe,
story descriptions that Laura favors make it not cozy. That's one answer. when you say vibes, and I think of like you don't know the victim, or the victim seems like they might have deserved it, so you can safely detach and occupy yourself with it's solving a puzzle rather than the actual fact that like someone's death is in a book. But
less theory, but yes.
It's weird. It is kind of a strange thing that we've done to ourselves. What do you think, Laura? What would make a murder cozy for you? Foreman. I don't understand that one, so I'll skip. And oh, Jordan's talking about my range in karaoke. He's watched our back episodes of Author Tubers Host Karaoke. By the way, the next edition is August 19th, this Saturday. It's going to be Europe friendly. So I'm going to be doing singing in my apartment at noon. Barrett will be co-hosting at 2 p.m. Pacific, and that will be 8 p.m. BST for anyone who wants to join in and is always rattling on about not being able to because it's too late. So, Martha said, thank you. I'm super excited to check those out. It'll be fun. If you don't know, Self-Righteousness is the channel, and occasionally we are blessed with her taking a bunch of crowdsourced words that people just pop in for no reason and making them into a narrative and putting them to song and accompanying herself, and it's amazing. So like that's one of the fun things she does on her channel. Oh, Jordan's asking about favorite scary movie, and I really don't have one because I don't like to be scared. I'm all for the cozy.
Yep, I can't do the visual medium of horror or anything. It's one of those things that's just like I can do horror books more now as an adult, but anything slightly scary, even being in a movie theater with like the trailers playing before a movie. I remember once I was watching the like new Transformers movie back in like 2015, the new one at the time, I don't know. And one of the trailers was for the new Insidious movie coming out, and I was just like, all right, let me just sit here like this. Like I just couldn't do it. It's the music, it's just chills. I don't like it. I don't like being scared. I have enough anxiety in my body. I don't need more, thanks.
So Leslie had a response. Cozy Nettles? I'm not sure what that is. Maybe if the murders take place at an elderly home facility. So the view is lush and peaceful, but people are dying mysteriously in their sleep and staff think nothing. Well, that's like the perfect crime. I think to make that could go either way, right? If you wanted to make it creepy, it would be the murderers getting away with it. And so that's like scary. Or if you want to make it cozy, it could be like one of the residents is sleuthing it out, or like one of the nurses like joins forces and they're watching, and it's something innocuous that's accidental at the end, you know?
Like you take that setting of the care home facility and you either make it creepy by making it like a just a slightly more like an actual care home facility where like the people there need to be cared for and like have serious like health issues and stuff like that. And then you have people just standing in the hallways in the middle of the night and the lights go out. Like you can make that setting so creepy, or you drag it the other direction and you have little old ladies around a table having tea. Like it's good. It's either way.
Like someone with like a memory loss is the one doling out the medicines for some reason. So everyone's got the wrong medication and that's why people are dying. So it's a mistake. And
Or the one with memory issues is secretly just slaughtering people in their beds at night, and they black out, so they don't know it's them.
Is that cozy?
No.
Okay, so we're going back and forth, giving people ideas in case they want them.
I love it.
Is wrong. I'm not sure. Oh, and the staff think nothing is wrong. Gotcha. She had to divide it over two. Are you thinking of In a Week by Hosier? Is that
I did listen to that one. It was In a Week and As It Was, I think, were the closest in my brain for some reason, because it's one where he like his voice like goes deep, and he doesn't do that in very many songs. So I was like, where is it? Where is the one that he goes deep in? Because I was trying to puzzle out your question of the theme song for summer is both cozy fantasy and horror.
Hosier. The answer is Hosier.
Yes, the answer is Hosier. I was trying to find like a specific song though. I was like, which one of his songs is like the quintessential?
Gotcha. So Anita said, cozy murder mysteries usually have romance and small town vibes too.
Yeah. They got other stuff going on.
Amateur sleuths. Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh.
Seaside, but it's not pirates, right? You said seaside, and I was like, wait, is that pirates? But
no, mine's not pirates, no. It's just in a seaside town.
Nice.
I think Books and Lala, fellow Canadian booktuber up here, she has done a lot of cozy mystery videos, like centered around cozy mystery and trying to find cozy mystery that like works. And a lot of them just seem to surround around like the local baker woman is accused of murder because her pie actually killed somebody. It's just like baker women, it's cafe women, it's small town, it's like teaming up with a detective. It's just
right,
a little quirky, a little funny, like it's the vibes. It's all vibes.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, those are elements in storycraft.
Yeah.
I would say that the Bailey Cates mysteries that I've just read and really enjoyed are not vibes. They're cozy mystery, but they have all those elements and they don't rely on the setting atmosphere as much. They have paranormal, and so it's more about identity discovery and like comfort with yourself as the themes. Yeah. Because they're wrestling with like the paranormal versus the contemporary setting. So I really enjoyed them. Martha's got a good question. Does predictability factor into such cozies? Like when one gets into a groove with characters and there's a formula, but the story is satisfying. And she said cozies, so that could be cozy mystery or cozy fantasy. What do you think for either one?
I think probably yes for cozy mystery, although I haven't read enough cozy mystery in my life. I don't even think I've read any cozy mystery in my life. I should get on that. That seems like a great freaking genre for me as someone who doesn't like scary. Yeah. I love me a good mystery. I'm really terrible at decoding stuff, so I'm like, give me the answers, please. I don't know. But I don't know about cozy fantasy because as of yet, as we talked about at the beginning, it's very hard to pin down a formula for cozy fantasy. But I guess kind of like rom-coms, you have like there's a happy ever after at the end, like it's going to be great and it's going to be fine. So maybe that's the formula. I don't know. I don't know.
Predictability. So I would say definitely yes for mysteries, because even in the whole mystery genre, without it being cozy, you know there's going to be some sort of resolution of the crime, like a whodunit or like justice being done in some way. So for the fantasy side, cozy fantasy, predictability, I would say that's not as related. So it's not a function of predictability to be mathematical about it.
Yes.
Laura says, I have a para-cozy story idea in the back of my mind. A vampire who sews fluffy coffin linings for the newly turned. A banshee who plays the organ for her son's choir. A witch who knits warming spells.
Write it, Laura. I will read the hell out of that. Write it, please. That sounds so good.
It does. I'm getting the first one especially. Laura, you might have already read this. Sarah Scribbles, the cartoonist, has a comic book out called Fangs. It's like a love story between vampire and a werewolf, but like very low-key comic strip.
The name is familiar.
Yeah. Knits warming spells into scarves and bakes cookies for her spellbook club. That does sound delightful.
I want it.
Oh, there's a cozy horror mystery, Jordan says, called Bloody Mary, which revolves around the formula. Good on ya. Yeah, the Bloody Mary trope of like saying your name in the mirror 3 times, I've heard of. That's one of those cultural osmosis things that obviously it's going to lead to trying to be jump scared. So I'm not into it.
Yeah, that was one that I remember hearing as a kid when I was extremely impressionable. And I remember like the older kids in school on one Halloween day, they had set up like a haunted house in their classroom. And I refused because I don't do haunted houses. I never have. But even as like
you just said you wanted to read a haunted house.
I know. Right? Never go in them though. I don't want to be jump scared. Okay, I will read it like everything, because I want to feel the suspense secondhand.
Right. Fair.
But yeah, it was one of those things. We were all sitting outside waiting our turn as a class, and one of the older like grade 8s or whatever was telling us about the Bloody Mary like myth. And it without fail, Margaret, every time I'm in the fucking bathroom, Mary, every time it stuck with me that hard. And I know it's not real, but it's still like psychological. I can't turn one direction in the bathroom anymore. I have to turn a specific way, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the way that it's affected me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've got stuff like that. So Nia really quick says she's working on a kind of cozy fantasy. Last I heard you were working on historical. Girl. Gotta hear about these things. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump into our second round because we had a really good time talking, but we're getting close to the end. So I want to make sure we get our second round in with another 15 minutes. I'm going to keep writing. Should I switch colors so you can see how much I did? I'll do that.
It's always fun visually.
Yeah. All right. So I'll see you in 15 minutes, and I'll mute myself in case I make weird noises.
I talk to myself, so yeah.
waiting last. There we go. The last seconds on the clock. Oh dear.
I just looked at the clock and it just switched over to 8, so I was like, okay, now we're good.
For these, when I have to keep my eye like half on the clock as a timekeeper and half on my work, I'm always like, the last minute, I'm always like, how is this minute still going? I've been looking at this clock for 60 seconds.
And you feel every single one of those seconds.
I know. I don't get it. Okay, so that was good. I didn't get as much, but I think I'm dealing with some more emotional stuff here. So main character is just easing into like the sadness. It's gonna create the paranormal event, and then we're gonna be off to the races. So
that's always exciting when things actually like kick off. It's nice. I like to play in it.
Yeah. How about you?
I was all right. I'm still working on the same chapter, but I'm nearing the end of it, so that's good. Love that for me.
Love
2 more to go after this in this part, and then I got 1 more part left of the book to go through.
That's good. I mean, that sounded good.
Yeah. Deadline's Wednesday. Then I gotta start line edits.
Said August. Okay, I thought you had the whole month, but yeah.
It's my self-imposed deadline of this draft is Wednesday, and then I start line edits. So
okay.
It's just going over and over and over and over and over and over it.
Yeah. All right, so we got some good questions from Laura to help close out. I will switch this out here so you're not covered. In your boozy story, what is the main character's drink of choice?
In a second story, it's coffee, and in A Little Luck, it's also coffee.
I see a theme.
I should really do tea at some point. It makes sense.
Different character. Yeah.
Yep.
Also, if you had to be the amateur sleuth in a cozy, what type of crime would you want to solve?
Ooh, very specifically a disappearance case, because then it has like the "are they still alive" flavor.
Oh.
But then turned into a murder, because I think that would be also spicy.
Oh, okay. So I would probably do like a theft, like a very rare, unique item that was stolen, and like, where did it go? That would probably be my choice.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Leslie said, if I was a sleuth, I'd like to solve who and why someone is stealing puppies from a small village. And I was like, that's like 100 Dalmatians plot. Okay.
Yep.
Sign me up for that. Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. Such a good movie, by the way. And then I put this in there. I'm about to call a Victorian policeman Randy Nosed. And I was like, I wasn't asking if it was problematic. I was just like asking if it was an appropriate Victorian sounding insult.
Oh,
or, you know, like, does someone have a better word? Because I know Shakespearean insults are a thing. But I was going for like 1840s Victorian.
I mean, Shakespearean is more Renaissance, so it's
right.
But oh my god, the Shakespeare insults are so funny. Just call everyone egg. It's great. But yeah, I guess if you want, Randy Nose is very Victorian sounding. I guess it's just kind of like what specifically you want to insult.
Right. It's not his nose. It's just like, so in someone's head, she's like, ugh, this upstart. Like, why is he ruining my thing? So
makes sense.
I think I'll leave it in there for now. And just,
yeah. I mean, it's always fun to look up stuff like what words were used back then that have gone out of favor, because they're so fun.
Yeah. And then let's see. And then I was like, I recognize this line, but I can't recall what comes after it. Bloody Mary is the girl I love. And she's not the only one who knows that reference, so she's not out-olded the chat, but I can't remember where it's from. Like, it's in my head. It's just got no reference tag on it. It's too long ago.
It does sound familiar. I don't know why.
Like, it's an old-timey song.
Yeah.
I was trying to imitate one, but I can't remember. Martha, help us out. How about the memory challenged? Nick was in and said hello. Happy writing. Thank you. And then Leslie says, yes, like 101 Dalmatians, but maybe in a small farm town. But then you wouldn't get the two criminal villains saying, bloody women drivers. which I loved. Oh, yeah. She says, I'm mainly thinking of puppies happily running towards me. That is a good goal. I like it. Oh my gosh, is it South Pacific? It's South Pacific. It is.
Yeah. South Pacific, Cape Town. I found it.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I was close. I had the dun, 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 dun. But,
yeah, you had the musical theater-y sounding like stage band.
Yeah, what my mind immediately goes to next is the next verse is she is always chewing beetle nuts. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. There's problems with that musical. It's okay. We like the music. In case anyone's interested in our lovely collaboration here, Stygian Collection, I dropped the link and said that, reminder, Brie Bonomo on Instagram is running a giveaway, so just drop a comment. She's got a fun thing going on. And let's see. Nia says, in my cozy fantasy... Oh, her MC drinks herbal tea and the dragon likes wine. They both have a sweet tooth. Oh, I like it.
I love it.
It's late. It's late where you are. It's okay. Anita says, yes, there are tons of weird Victorian insults. Yeah, I just couldn't remember like where that word went with. The fairy drinks herbal tea and the dragon drinks wine. Okay, thank you. Yeah, South Pacific. Okay, because I heard you. And I hope that doesn't like put me in a filter for like copyright infringement. But
oh, no, I didn't even think of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Nia says, I love me some weird Victorian insults and slang. Yes, me too. Yeah, it's fun stuff. She probably can't say it out loud because she's the wife of a rector or vicar, but, you know, she can think it in her head. She's been around. Yeah.
You gotta be polite on the outside and just absolutely vicious on the inside. That's how you get through it.
That's how the cozy fantasy vibes happen. I see. All right. Well, it has been a delight. You're going to keep working for a little more tonight, do you think? And like get through the last bit to finish the chapter or like take a break?
Oh, this is me starting for the night. So this will be will be good. Because I finished work at about 4 or 5 and worked on some content stuff and then made dinner and then came here. So next is writing.
You're all set. I like it.
Yes.
Well, I have done most of my work for the day, so after this I'm going to be winding down. But I do want to remind people what's coming. Every weekday in August, these Fireside Chats are happening with a new guest every day. So tomorrow we have Amy of A-Star Reads, who thankfully is in my time zone, so there's no confusion. She's almost in Canada. She's in like Bellingham, Washington, which is on the West Coast. So we'll be chatting about probably her book Blind Dates series, which she's been doing, and just fun reading stuff. So that should be great fun.
Very nice.
So tune in. Is there anything else that was meant? Oh, give people a reminder about your secret word so they can drop it in the comments and be entered to win.
My secret word is incandescent.
And I don't want to move my ring light. I was like going to show it, and then I was like, no, it's going to mess up everything.
Blind everybody.
Yeah, I had a different word. What was the different word? What should I have as my favorite word for the day? I had a different one in mind, and now I've lost it. Shoot, it was on the walk this morning.
Oh, no.
All right. Forgetful. Forgetful is my favorite word for the day. So you can leave comments as you like and have as many entries as you would like using either of those words. All right. Yes, Martha says Rector is an objectively funny title. I hope she'd have a sense of humor. Yeah, well, she's based on Charlotte Collins from Pride and Prejudice, so she definitely has. Yeah.
Exceptional.
Laura. Yeah.
Incandescent, if you will.
Yes. And Nia says, glad I was able to make a fireside chat. Yay! You're always welcome. Thank you all for coming by and watching and supporting Jenn Collignon, our new author for the day. And
thank you for having me.
Subscribe. Yeah. So we'll see you all. Wait, That's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. We'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.